Episode number 241, Enhancing Your Church's Online Presence with Andy High, Darrel Girardier, and Kranda. Let's do it.
This is the definitive podcast for helping you plan, create, and execute dynamic worship experiences at your church. Useful, practical content in the areas of production, worship, communications, first impressions, and more. This is Making Sunday Happen.
Well, hey guys, welcome to Making Sunday Happen, the definitive podcast for those who plan, create, and execute worship experiences all around the world. Man, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, hasn't it? I mean, the world is just absolutely interesting right now. And your worship experience may look very, very different than it did just a few weeks ago. We had a choice to make as a ministry, how involved we were going to get in helping you and others in the church how to navigate through this crazy time. And guys, we don't have all the answers at all, and we're trying to figure some stuff out as well. Where do we see things going? What are we going to do now? What are we going to do when this COVID-19 stuff is over? We're all trying to figure that out together. But if we can be of help to you, we would love to be that. So we made a decision to jump headfirst into resourcing the church. And here's how we came to that decision. Our bullseye is helping you with your worship experience. Well, the one major question you have right now is, how do we do our worship experience? How do we do church on Sunday? How do we make Sunday happen? So we know that's our bullseye. So we felt we need to be the ones, or one of the people out there, one of the ministries out there helping you guys navigate through this time. And again, guys, we don't have all the answers. We're trying to figure it out too. But if we can help you, we would love to be there for you. I want to point you to a blog post that we are continually adding to with COVID-19 updates and resources. I want you to go to 1230.media/COVID-19. 1230.media/COVID-19. There you'll find our free live streaming guide, our coronavirus service packs, our church at home service pack. That pack has 20 free social media graphics that you can use for your church. It's all about church at home, so it talks about meeting online and Zoom calls for your small groups and things like that. So 20 free social media graphics. It's called the Church at Home Service Pack. Also, our book Upload. That's about how to get your pre-recorded content online. Also on that page, we have discounts, blog posts, bonus podcast episodes, and more. It's all on that one blog post for you, all curated there together for you. 1230.media/COVID-19 for all of that. Well, we've shifted our podcast calendar around just a little bit to bring you some content that we think will be helpful to you over the next few weeks. Today, I'm sharing 3 interviews that I did at SALT19 Conference last year. I talked with Andy High, also Darrel Girardier, and Kranda from Saddleback, all about how to enhance your church's online presence. So obviously right now you're probably 100% online as a church. So we want to give you some practical tips for how to enhance how people find you and how people engage with you and your church online. So first up will be Andy, and I talked with Andy about how to Google your church, among other things. But first, let me tell you about this week's sponsor of our show. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Text in Church. Text in Church is the trusted text and email platform to help your church thrive. They are gifting get this guys, a 60-day free membership to churches everywhere to help you communicate during this time of uncertainty. These guys are fantastic. We use them. Thousands of churches around the world use them to follow up with guests and engage your members. You can head to bit.ly, that's bit.ly, bit.ly/WeCare_TIC. bit.ly/WeCare_TIC text in church, TIC, to claim your 60-day free membership. bit.ly/WeCare_TIC, or you can visit them online at textinchurch.com. Textinchurch.com. Check those guys out. They are fantastic and will help you communicate well to all the members in your church. Well, here's a little bit more about Text in Church, and then you'll see my interview with Andy High. Here we go. Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with Andy High. Andy, your workshop here at SALT was all about how to Google your church, SEO for your church. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so basically, 94% of people start any information that they're trying to find on the internet now through search. So that could be whether I'm looking for a new car through a new dishwasher, or if I'm looking for a new church. Yeah. So what we talked about today was just trying to help people understand how to make it easy for people in your community to find you and find what they need in your church.
How important is my website or being able to find me online? How important is that to be the front door of
Oh, it's very important. Like I said, 94% of people out there are searching for it already, whether you like it or not. Yep. It's just where people are these days, so you got to meet them where they are.
Yep. So I'm checking you out online before I visit you.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So give me a practical nugget of truth from your workshop that I can take and use this week.
Yeah. So we covered a lot of things, but if there's any one overarching theme that I would give, it is, as with anything creative, figure out how to step away from what you've made. So if you've written a thing, if you've made a video, it's hard to know if it's good or not because you're so close to it. When it comes to websites, amplify that by 100 because you built the thing and you know how to find everything, but nobody else does. Okay. So try and get it in front of other people who don't know you, have them click around, see if ask them questions like, hey, if you were looking for a kids ministry, would you find what you need here? Hey, if you were looking for divorce care, would you find what you need? And have them poke around, and if they can't find it, neither can anybody else.
So how do I find those people? Friends in the community, friends that they don't have to be church members.
Nope.
In fact, it's probably better if they're not.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So give me one SEO tip. Is there tags that I can create? Is there how I create my website? What is good for SEO for a church?
Yeah. Well, a lot of churches are on WordPress these days. There's a lot of good plugins out there for that. I'd recommend Yoast. It's definitely the 800-pound gorilla in the space, and if you're going green and all of Yoast's checks, you're pretty good. But I would say, again, the biggest thing is just think like a user. Think about what they're trying to look for and think about the intent when they asked that question, because all searches are just some sort of question, even if it's not phrased that way. Yeah. So if they're asking a question, how can I help them answer it?
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hey, guys. Also at SALT19 last year, I chatted with my friend Darrel Girardier from Brentwood Baptist in Nashville, Tennessee, all about how YouTube is growing in popularity and how you can use the platform to grow your online reach. Here's Darrel. Hey guys, I'm here with my buddy Darrel. Darrel, I always butcher your last name, so.
I'm Darrel Girardier.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so you're still at Brentwood.
Yes.
And you're helping with communications and a bunch of other stuff, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I oversee the creative and digital team. That's web design, that's video post-production, and graphic design as well.
Awesome. So you did a big marathon workshop yesterday, and I did the same one last year, not the content, but man, it is quite the afternoon.
Yes.
But it's awesome because instead of just, beginner, we can really drag it out and really train people, and lots of conversations happen and things like that. So give me a little quick snapshot of what your workshop was on.
Yeah, for us, our workshop really covered for us a couple different areas that we are focused on in terms of our website design, graphic design, writing for the web, video post-production, and online church and social media for that, and all encompassed together. And we're really talking through where we were as a church, where we are as a church, and where we're going as a church.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So if I'm in your workshop, give me one, and we're condensing 3 hours to one sentence right here. So give me that one quick takeaway that I can take and use this Sunday.
Yeah, so I would tell you, I think immediate actionable content here would be for us that we have seen research that shows that YouTube is growing in popularity. Right now, it's just recently overtaken Netflix as the number one viewed platform for teenagers. So for you to make a long-term investment right now, think of it like a 401k where you put your money in, later on you'll be a millionaire if you do it in your 20s.
Yeah.
YouTube to me is the same way. Put the time and effort now into putting content in YouTube. Even if you use Vimeo and other platforms, it's great, but start investing in YouTube today, because that's where we're spending our time and effort on, because we know years down the road, when that teenage audience become adults, that's going to pay off for us.
They stay with you. So tell me length. Is there a certain, is it okay to have long form, short form? What's the best length for YouTube videos?
We're playing with multiple lengths. So we will do some 3-minute stuff. We've hit around 7 or 8 minutes worth of content has worked well for us, but we've also ventured into 25, 30, even 45-minute content depending on the subject matter. But we're finding right now 7 to 8 minutes right now is a really good sweet spot for us.
Do you find that, like, if I'm going to throw a little tiny clip on Facebook, like maybe a 30-second clip, and I throw them to YouTube for the longer format, does that work the best? Like, what is the...
So we've run into that where that works if we're willing to put money behind it, because of the way that Facebook's algorithm works. So if you're willing to invest some cash into it, we found anytime we're able to get somebody else to a different platform off of Facebook, that has worked well for us.
Yeah.
So that's how we handle that situation.
Awesome. Okay, so say I wasn't able to make it to SALT this year. Give me another practical tip. Maybe it's the same one. Yeah. Maybe give me a different one. What can I use this week?
This week, I want you to start thinking about how you can create a single piece of content for every single day of the week. Because your people have a lot of what I call cognitive surplus, where they've got a lot of extra time, whether it's on the way to work, when they're in their office, whatever, lunch, whatever that is, and they're going to consume it doing something. So the question is, why aren't they consuming the stuff that you're creating? So for us, we're using a platform called Anchor.fm. It's a free podcasting platform, and our goal is to create 7 podcasts, 1 podcast a day.
Wow.
Want to be on men, women. By the way, the setup on this is not hard. You can download the Anchor FM on your iPhone, get a little mic, and you can create a podcast right then and there. Yeah. So it's super easy to pull.
How long are they?
So our episodes right now are ranging around 30 minutes on average, 25 to 30 minutes. We've got a family one that's about 25 minutes, and our disciple making one's about 30 to 35. Okay,
so here's the secret sauce for me. I don't know if it's secret sauce for you, in that I create content in bulk for podcasts. Yes. And then we distribute that out and calendar that out. Yeah. Okay, that works so good because I can record a bunch in bulk and then distribute. Same thing?
Yes, exactly. When I record podcasts, I typically will try to knock out 4 at a time, depending on the length of the matter. For our family podcast, we're recording 2-3 episodes at a time. So I tell my ministers, block about an hour and a half, and pre-plan the content, and again, like you, doing that chunk, because when you're in the groove and getting going, it's so much easier to do that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, man, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I also got to chat with Jay Kranda from Saddleback Church about how they stream church at Saddleback and how your online church represents your mission and your values, and how to take it just as seriously as you would your physical gatherings. Very interesting subject to chew on in the times that we're going through. Here's my interview with Jay. Hey guys, I'm here with my friend Jay Kranda. Jay, you just did a workshop on streaming for Saddleback. Give me a quick overview of that workshop.
Yeah, so the concept of that your online product really represents your mission, your values, all that stuff, and you need to take it just as seriously as you take your facility.
Good.
And there's really 2 big approaches. It's thinking online to offline. Most churches going to be a front door approach, that people watch your experience online and then they're engaged physically and figuring out what you want to do online and you don't, and connect it to a premium experience, which is your physical church. And then the second is some churches thinking about decentralizing your church, actually offering up church through some experience that enables houses to kind of launch things.
Gotcha. So one thing I always talk about is that your worship experience is a journey from parking lot to parking lot. So take that phrase into the streaming world. Would the same be true? My experience is from when I turn on the stream to when I turn off the stream?
No, I would actually say it's from when they turn on the stream to actually attending physically in person.
Good. Okay.
So they're actually moving from, we at our church, we talk a lot from street to seat.
Right.
And here it's actually moving from a viewer to actually to the seat. So thinking through, how does somebody watch something on YouTube or on your website or on Facebook? How do they respond? And then ultimately, who's engaging there to ultimately meet them either on the patio at your church or that they attend physically? What does that experience look like?
Moving them to the seat.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me one practical nugget that I can take away from your workshop that I can use in my church this week.
So I would say one of the toughest things is actually figuring out what you want to do online and what you don't. And a lot of people have opinions and thoughts.
Yeah.
The older you get, the more opinions you have on that probably. I would say the most practical thing is actually on a whiteboard. Draw out your church's methodology. This is how you do church. And then actually talk about, okay, draw a line. This is what we want to enable online, and this is what we don't. And by just allowing your team to have space, to actually have freedom to try, like, let's nail in the worship experience, the more iterations and attempts, it will actually gain trust. Because the more stories of success of people coming physically will allow your leadership to go, oh, this is actually valuable, and it actually does represent our church, and we should staff it and resource it appropriately.
So I know that you and I have talked about this before. What is the difference in just turning on a stream and streaming your service and creating an online experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is actually having a pastoral presence. And so thinking through the unintended consequences and having people actually responding. So turning something on, it's just, there's content. So for example, if somebody's watching online and you talk about small groups, do you have a way for them to actually take a next step and actually get into a small group?
Right.
We talk a lot about there's three audiences now, where there's the audience in your worship center, the audience watching real time on Facebook Live, and then there's the audience watching days, weeks, months later. And you want to make sure all three audiences can take a next step and get plugged into your church. And if they get done with a YouTube video, is there any way? Are you just uploading something and not thinking about how does someone take a next step?
Okay, so give me that practically. Is that a button? Is that an online pastor that's online engaging with me? Is that a combination of the two? Walk me through a couple of practical.
Yeah, I think the main thing is having some kind of outro video of a pastor or a person that's put on the end. That's as simple as, like YouTube, for example. Ours is just, hey, thanks for watching this video on YouTube this week. My name is Jay, I'm the online pastor, and all that means is I'm here to help you take a next step.
Good.
So if you want to take a next step, email us here or text us here. Good. So I think that's probably the easiest way to do that.
Good. Awesome, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be interesting right here to drop a video that Jay did last week talking about his fear for the church after COVID-19 ends. He asked the questions, will churches embrace online more post-COVID-19? Will churches scale back to the state that we were in just a few weeks ago? He also shares 4 things that you should be doing right now to thrive in when you're using a digital online approach. So church online, what should you be doing right now? He talks through 4 major things that you need to be doing. So check out these words of wisdom from Jay.
Well, we are in a very interesting phase of the church, aren't we? Churches can't physically gather. Everybody's moving online. And what happens when this is all over? COVID-19 has really thrown a lot of us into a loop. Some of us who've kind of been thinking about online for a while now, some of this has been very enlightening. I know there's some stuff that I maybe believed a little bit more strongly before this. And then now I'm like, this, I do not want to happen online. I want this to be physical. And I feel like it's kind of it's put us to the test of what we really believe of what is possible. And there's 2 kind of camps. There's the camp that was all digital, and I think they're figuring out like, wow, it's not fun to grieve online. It's not fun to do this only online. That maybe this makes sense and this doesn't. But the pure online folks have been kind of rattled. Now, the people that thought nothing was possible online, they've been rattled too. There's ministries and churches that were like, I'm never doing anything digital. And now they're realizing, oh, wow, this is possible. I'm nervous what's going to be the kind of the pullback after this. There's a principle Malcolm Gladwell talks about in, I think it's his revisionist history, where he talks about the first time that, I think it was Australia, voted in a woman into their leadership. And the thought was going to be that this was going to be a huge thing for the progression of kind of women's rights. And what happened was actually the reverse happened. Because there was like this front runner woman that was voted in, that essentially the rebound, the kind of the counter effect was that everybody thought, oh, I'm not sexist because I voted for her. Same thing happened with President Obama. I'm not a racist because I voted for President Obama. It becomes justification. Because you did this one thing, I can do, now I don't have to do that anymore. And I think there's a good chance that happens with online, because right now there's a lot of people embracing online that are being force-fed it. This is not I wanted to try this out. This is, I have to figure this out. And so there's going to be a lot of people coming in out of this that are going to be like, I never want to do that again. That was not fun. And so I'm a little nervous that this will actually, like in a large scale, make people go, man, I never want to do that again, or I want to stop streaming, or I never want to do online groups. I know that there's going to be probably more good than bad. It's going to be a lot of people figuring out, oh, wow, streaming our services is pretty cool. Online groups are possible. Online staff meetings are possible. All these things that, people have, spent hours and hours of time now. I mean, I'm on with different people now and they're pros at Zoom, and that's because you have to. I mean, humans are pretty resilient when they get put up against the wall. And I think our churches are figuring out there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do digitally. But I'm nervous for the people that use this as justification that they don't have to do anything ever again online. And so that's something I'm kind of wrestling with and figuring out how to navigate with different people, because a lot of people now are becoming very opinionated about digital and online. I think of online kind of like, theology. Everybody's a theologian, just some are better at it than others. And everybody has opinions about technology. I mean, everybody thinks like, why is the button this way? Or my feed didn't work. And everybody has thoughts. The problem is those people who have the thoughts doesn't mean that they're good thoughts or that they're, backed with something that actually makes a lot of sense. And I think we're moving into a time after this, and we're still in it right at the point of this recording. But it's let's do the things that need to be done right online, and let's scale back the things that don't, and let's continue doing some things, and let's stop doing some things. And I'm really excited about kind of that part of this equation. The one thing that I have learned is that when you're thinking about your church on how to do something online, you've got to figure out 4 different kind of paradigms, because at the end of the day, you want your people to continue on. When services got canceled a couple weeks ago and everyone's like, what do we do? Well, the short answer is you continue doing what you were already doing. You just got to change the medium or the method of how you were doing it. We don't stop reaching people. We don't stop fellowshipping. We don't stop serving. We don't stop discipling. We don't stop worshiping. We continue all those things. We look at the early church. What were they doing? They were meeting house to house. They were meeting corporately. They were gathering. Doesn't mean we stop gathering. It means we start gathering in a new way. And so the 4 big ways you need to think about how do you do this in a digital only phase is that first you have to figure out, how do you do large gatherings online? Like, how do you corporately gather as a church? And I do think it's really important to still gather and not be a pure Netflix type of on-demand. I don't think the on-demand model is bad. I think you should have that, and very much on how I think I do that. But I think a launch event where everybody's watching together is really important. It's kind of the idea is when you jump onto a Facebook stream or a YouTube stream and you see that 1,000 other people are watching with you, there is something powerful that 1,000 other people are corporately watching with you at one time. I think you still need to do that. And you do that with like a Facebook Live, Facebook Premiere, YouTube Live, YouTube Premiere, or some other live streaming tool. And so you got to think about, how do you do weekly or regular large events? The other thing is, how do you do smaller events, like everything from empowering small groups to meet or having, 100 people together. And, the dominant way people are doing that now is through Zoom, a large Zoom meeting. Zoom has been pretty effective at doing this. And I know some people are hesitant with some of the security risks. I got to be honest, all you got to do is enable waiting rooms or put a password, and you fix that 100% of the time. And so don't be worried about the security risks. Just do that. And so you got to do small gatherings online. Then you got to encourage your people still to meet one-on-one. And that could be a phone call. That could be a FaceTime video call. It could be a Zoom call. But you still want the people to be mentored and connecting and calling. I think about right now, something I'm doing regularly is I just call my grandparents. I call my grandparents once a week and I just check in with them. And that's a call. And it's very simple. And we just talk for 15, 20 minutes. And it's a very simple thing. You still want your people to do that. And that can happen phone call, can happen on a video call, on Zoom, Facebook video, anything. And then, lastly, you need self-guided experiences. And that's the on-demand. What does it look like for somebody to go through a video course using like a learning management software, like a Thinkific or a Teachable, or maybe a podcast, or maybe they're following along. But you got to think about, how do you do large gatherings, small gatherings, one-on-one connections, and then self-guided experiences. If you figure out these 4 type of kind of methods, approaches, you can still do church. And so you need to figure out how do you do it. And then you need to train your key people to do it. And then they train their people to do it. And then guess what? Your church continues to be the church. Don't stop being the church. Continue on and lean into digital. Take a lot of documentations on what makes sense and what doesn't. And then when we come out of this, continue something, roll back some other things. But my prayer is that you grow in a lot of big ways. And so if there's anything I can help you with, let me know. I would love to be praying for your church, praying for many of you going into Easter services. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I would love to answer any questions. Praying for for the kingdom of God to continue to grow in this very troubling season. But I know God is using this in a big way to expand our reach, to be able to reach even more people, even when people can't leave their physical house. And we can reach so many more people online. So praying for your church.
The show notes for this episode are available now at MAKINGSUNDAYHAPPEN.com.
Well, hey guys, as I close the show this week, I want to take an opportunity to give a shout out to a few tech and communications staff members at churches around the country. I put a post on Facebook asking for pastors to brag on their teams and how they've stepped up to the plate in a big way the last few weeks. Dozens of pastors commented bragging on their team, so I wanted to mention just a few and give a great shout out to some hard workers out there. So Josh Herlihy, Sean Farrell, and Krista Martin at Pleasant Street Baptist Church in Mechanic Falls, Maine. Encouragement from your pastor, Greg Morgan. So you guys are awesome. Keep up the great work. Andrew Robertson, Josh Orona, Omar Gonzalez at Victory Church in Lehigh Acres, Florida. Huge thank you from your pastor, Daniel Gregory. So you guys keep up the great work. Andrew, Josh, Omar, you guys are awesome. Keep it up. Rachel Jackson at Angus Church in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Great job on leading your pastor in how to edit videos and editing videos for your pastor. So way to go, Rachel. Jake Sheffield and Matthew Davis at Connection Church in Dublin, Georgia. Way to go, guys. Keep after it. And then Gene Riggins at Evangel Temple in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Great job on cranking out videos and live streams. So those were just a few of the couple of dozen brags that your pastors gave you on Facebook. So way to go, guys. Keep up the great work. I believe in you. I'm proud of you. Keep up the great work that you're doing for your churches. I know that you've stepped up big during this time, so way to go. All right, those are just a few of the hundreds and hundreds of tech and communication staff members that have worked so hard over the last couple of weeks to do church, to make Sunday happen, even in the midst of this pandemic. So keep up the amazing work. All right, to jump into the conversation, one thing that we've started the last few weeks is what we're calling the Monday Roundtable, and this is an open Zoom call. It's public, and you can come into it. The Zoom call is for pastors, tech teams, communication teams, volunteers, worship leaders, anyone who wants to jump in and talk through how you're doing church online better. So feel free to jump in, join the conversation. There's been dozens and dozens of people join us last week and the last 3 weeks, actually. So we're doing these every single Monday at 12:30 p.m. See what we did there? 12:30 p.m. Eastern. You can get details and join the call at 1230.media/Monday Roundtable. So 1230.media/Monday Roundtable. The link is right there. You can also view past roundtables of the last 3 weeks. We put them up there. We put a list of all the resources that we talked through in that roundtable. So be sure to catch up if you want to, listen while you work kind of thing, and jump in. 1230.media/Monday Roundtable every Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Well, while you're there, also navigate to our training tab and click on podcasts. for all the show notes and resources mentioned in this episode, and also you can check out our archive podcast. Every podcast that we've done is right there on the website. This is episode number 241, so lots to discover in the archives. You can get there directly by going to MAKINGSUNDAYHAPPEN.com. Be sure to leave us a rating and review of the show on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you consume podcasts. It really helps us with the ranking and gets this content out to more people. So take a minute and do that for us if you would. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Go out there and create some incredible online worship experiences this weekend.
Making Sunday Happen is a production of the ministry of 1230 Media. For show notes, archive episodes, and more free resources for your church, visit MAKINGSUNDAYHAPPEN.com.